Happy Monday, everybody, or whatever day you're watching this. You know the drill. We're going to go bronze through gold, all regions. We're going to go below 5,000 dust, above 50% win rates, weekly budget decks for you to climb the standard ladder. The balance patch came out like 3-4 days ago now, and it seems to, as to where the last time I made one of these videos, when there was just 2 classes that were above 50% win rates. Now there's a whole bunch. There's 7 different classes that are above 50% win rates, and obviously there's outliers with Death Knight, Rogue, Warlock, Warrior. If you have the budget, there's at least every class has at least one deck that you can play and actually go above 50%. Let's go into some of the things that I saw in the past couple of days. Remember, this patch was 31.0.3, and it made some balances. You know, Reno got hit again, which was fine, and I think they were trying to just, you know, bring up some of these new Great Dark Beyond cards that weren't seeing much play or no need to be playing. Do I think it's perfect? No. Do I think they're close? Yes, absolutely. And for a budget player, you're going to see a lot of what you've been seeing recently. The cool thing is, look at all the tier 1. Secret Hunter is below 5,000. Hand Buff Paladin, it's been around, it's below 5,000. Elemental Mage is below 5,000. There's an Asteroid Shaman below 5,000. So there are several tier 1 adjacent decks that will really get you to climb between, you know, bronze through gold, and of course to go even further than that. Just depends on how many cards you have, how many you know, the Great Dark Beyond cards, the previous cards, and it also depends on how much dust you have. Would I craft anything right now? I think there was a couple of Great Dark Beyonds maybe, but I really would just sit there and see how the next couple of days stabilizes. I don't see any outliers that say, oh my god, if you haven't crafted this card yet, you need to now, just situationally. But we're going to talk about a couple of cards that are in your core set right now that are pretty strong. So we're just going to go look at some decks. I'm going to go through classes just to give a brief assessment of some of the classes. And then we're going to go through a couple of decks that we've talked about, we haven't talked about. There's really one really fun one right now. So, like I said, last couple of days since the patch dropped, and we're just going to go through each one of the classes. Death Knight. Really, there was a lot of things that you could use as a Death Knight, but right now there is no longer below 5,000 dust. There was a Frost Death Knight or what have you, and it kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. I don't see it happening right now at all. It's just Corpsicle, 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 and really it is expensive. 6,960 dust. So I don't know if Death Knight is your thing right now. Maybe Frost could get away from some outlier situations, but it's just not here. It's just gone from, you know, the past couple of days. Going at Demon Hunter, you've got Pirate Demon Hunter and you have Pirate Demon Hunter. You got a lot of choices there for Demon Hunter, but you would need a lot more dust to be able to craft these decks. And look, Ziliax is in this one, so if you already have this one, that's not a problem. I don't know. I only see 1,000 games here, less than 1,000 games between, you know, everything that's on HS Replay right now. And remember, this is not an all-encompassing, you know, HS Replay doesn't have all the statistics. They have statistics of people that are using their deck tracker. This is just an analysis of the data that I have. It's not an all-encompassing analysis. Druid is so expensive. We would have to sit there and double the amount of dust requirements for all the decks because it's just 10,000 or above. There's not a lot of games. Druid is not being seen as prevalent, at least bronze through gold on this side. Hunter has a couple options. Secret. No, listen. Secret's good. There's a couple of trample type hunters out there. We're gonna talk about this one. This card, I mean, this deck is amazing. I thought it was really cool. I actually have a small video to show you. It's really cool. Mage is just still there. Listen, they did nerf a couple of mage adjacent cards for the entire big spell mage type of archetype that was ruining certain people's experiences. But as you can see, if you have some elemental cards, you're fine. You have nothing to worry about. These are strong decks. The cool thing with this elemental mage is it's not expensive in any capacity. There's one that's 6,000, and by the time that you're winning games, you might have, received enough packs or gold from hitting the rewards track to where you can buff up this deck and make it even stronger with what you get. But you really can run this through. There's 2,880 dust for this elemental mage with a 65% win rate, 9,200 games as a sample size. This is a good deck for the budget player. Big spell mage, you need a lot of gold, right? I mean, a lot of dust right now. It's just really expensive. I would go elemental all the time if I'm a budget player. Go to Paladin. Paladin has hand buff. There's those multiple hand buff archetypes that have been around since before the expansion launch that are still good. They're still valuable. Do I think they're crazy strong and will get you all the way to legend? Maybe not as much. There is some situational pieces there. I think hand buffs above 6,000 dust is probably the best way you can go in order to go past bronze to gold. But the hand buff package is enough to get you started with 1,000, 1,200 dust to really be able to start climbing the ladder and then just put together that deck. You played 50 games on this, you're an expert at it, if you will. Tourist is right up there, right against the line. And Libram, listen, we're going to talk about Libram briefly. There's a Libram package I found that's below 5,000 that I like. I wanted Librams to work. Paladin's my favorite. Libram Paladin was my absolute favorite when all of the older Libram cards were in standard. So I love it. I want it to work. I think it's close. Maybe not 100% perfect, but I think it's close. Going over Priest, we have Fishing Priest, which is kind of bait. I'm not a fan of it. 260 games. We talked about it before, and then it kind of like dropped off the face of the earth, and then you need 12,000 plus dust to play Zarimi Priest. I don't think anybody wants to do that intentionally. Rogue, you have a lot of options. Weapon Rogue is strong. There's a Pressure Rogue. There's a Mech Rogue. You have a couple of options there. Quasar got hit. I don't think Quasar was a huge, crazy, busted card. I think if it got buffed, it would have been a crazy, busted card. But it just didn't see a lot of play and didn't have a huge win rate. But Weapon Rogue is still super strong. If you're not hitting a Weapon Rogue opponent by turn 4, turn 5, you're done. It's just going to sweep and steamroll you no matter what you're doing. So if you're playing Weapon Rogues or any type of rogue where you don't see a lot of movement besides the weapon being buffed, you're on a timer. You're on a very short timer. Hit them and, hurry up before they hit you. Shaman's got Asteroid Shaman. Look, below 5,000, Asteroid Shaman. There's a couple of decks of Asteroid Shaman that are a little bit more expensive, but this is a powerful deck. I have a video about the Asteroid Shaman that's pretty good. I also have, some gameplay on that. It's still valid. It's still valuable. If you already have that deck or most of that deck, I would consider just making some slight tweaks to it. Let's see what else. Warlock isn't. There's nothing here. Nothing here crazy new. So there's Pain, Hand, Space Warlock at 14,000. There's just nothing for a budget player right now. And I'm not a huge... Listen, I used to be... Warlock was my favorite. Before Paladin was my favorite. And it hasn't been good to me in the past 3 expansions. So that's just me, my personal thing. If I ever see a Warlock that can get something done below 5,000, we'll talk about it. Absolutely. And then Warrior's just back to where it was last year, to where it was just like, it's not so good. It's not so good. No, I'm kidding. Odin Warrior is awesome, but for a budget player, it's not so awesome. Highlander Warrior is even seeing play. So Reno got nerfed to where the only thing was it wasn't just erasing the entire board. Now it's just erase the minions on board, so the starships and the portals stay. I'm fine with this change. I'm glad it hasn't killed it. We are seeing some Highlander Warrior out there. Probably the most popular deck in terms of total games for Warrior is the Highlander package. So I don't think that was an absolute nerf. I don't think we'll never see Reno again, but it has been hit. Absolutely. All right, let's get into some of the decks. This is the one I wanted to talk about. This is the one that I think is pretty important because I don't think it's perfect yet. I don't think it's 100% yet, but it's strong and it's going to get even better. So Trample Hunter is 59.9% win rate right now with 5,000 dust. And your main goal here, you essentially have 2 minions that you want to do everything to. You have this Warsong Grunt and you have Hollow Hound. You might think, which I thought originally was, Hollow Hound is the one that you want to do all the crazy special stuff was. Not necessarily. Warsong Grunt is just as powerful. So it's got couple muscle. What are you going to do? You're going to give a minion in your hand +2/+1. You want to give Warsong and Hollow Hound. Fetch, draw a minion. If it's a beast, draw a spell. So, you know, some card draw here. Tracking's always good. Always a bigger Jarmonger. This one right here with a buffed up Warsong Grunt and the excess damage dealt by attacks hits the enemy hero is going to wipe your opponent out in 1, maybe 2 turns. It's crazy. Barrel of Monkeys helps keep your board, intact. Helps keep something away from your Warsong Grunt or some of the other ones. They have to hit those 1/4 taunts first. You can also buff them, but, you know, like I said, the buffs you want to throw on those too. Birdwatching. Discover a minion from your deck. Give all copies of it +2/+1 wherever you are. So what's better than 1 Warsaw Grunt? How about 2? There's options there that you can use for either one of them. There's Royal Librarian in here, but I wouldn't really use that as a buff thing. It's just to silence a minion that's on your opponent's board that's going to be a pain in the butt, okay? You also have Explosive Trap, 2 damage to all enemies, so it's area effect hitting all of your opponent's minions. Titan Forge Traps. This card is just amazing. I'm glad that it's in the Hunter package. I'm hoping that it stays there for a very long time. Exarch Niall, and this one is for you to be able to hit your hero power and get the cards that you want when you need them. It's a great card. Punch card. Give your hero +3 attack, also damages adjacent minions this turn. I mean, this is great hitting board clear. If you can, or multiple minions on the board, instead of killing everything out, maybe you need to hit some, a little bit of damage on each one of them to do some crazy stuff. Reserve Spot. Give a minion in your hand +4/+4. If it's the only one there, reduce its cost by 2. So you're going to get a cheap Warsong or a cheap Hollow Hound because there's not a lot of minions in this deck. The likelihood of there being multiple minions in your hand at that time is pretty low, and if so, you can just move some things around. Char's great. Deal 7 damage to a minion. Give a minion in your hand stats equals to its excess damage. So why wouldn't you want to hit this with a 1/1? Absolutely, I would hit this on a 1/1 because you want a huge Warsong Grunt. Like I said, we talked about the Librarian, Alien Encounters, summon 2/5 beasts with taunt. These are great because you can go ahead and have something on the board to make your opponent have a hard time with it. Ranger Gilly. People say this is busted, stupid, broken, it's not worth it or what have you, but the Death Rattle is amazing. Give all minions in your hand +2/+3. Don't throw this out until you have Warsong or Hollow Hound in your hand. And then you know what this does. Rush, after this attacks and kills a minion, it may attack again. This card is crazy. I don't see how good it was until I watched a video. Like I said, I saw Flair put on Twitter this 30-second clip of some craziness going on where he just has like a 14-16 Warsaw Grunt and just clearing the board, and with the other cards that are in his hand, he's able to just hit the opponent for all of its damage. Almost everything was gone. You're seeing the clip right now. It's amazing. This is what you want to do. I thought it was going to be Hollow Hound. Now, Hollow Hound has Lifesteal and Rush, so it helps you clear the entire board with Jormonger, always a bigger Jormonger. There's so many options here, and I don't think it's fully put together yet of being an amazing deck. I think it's only going to get stronger. And look at this. The win rate goes from nothing on the 18th to just boom, above. And this was at one point when it first came out, 65% win rate, because no one knew what to do with it. They had no clue what they were dealing with. It's a very good deck. It's 5,000 dust. I'm excited to play this one in a lot more capacity, especially when it gets even busted even further as it's refined. Let's also talk about Libram Paladin. 5,440 dust. The reason we're talking about this one is because Leeroy Jenkins is in the core set, so it's not going to cost you anything. So technically, it's below 5,000 dust. I've mentioned it before. If you've watched 10 minutes of any of my videos, you know I'm a big fan of Libram Paladin. I want this to be back. When the expansion first came out, it was nothing. Libram Paladin was not there. They've made some adjustments to some of the cards, okay? And I think it's getting there. Getting there enough to where this one's at a 62.3% win rate. Do I think it's perfect? No. Do I think it's better than absolutely, what it was in the past? Yes, 100%. I think that this will be stronger. I'm hoping maybe the mini set will help the Libram Paladin package. I don't think it's going to, because it's going to be StarCraft themed, but we can hope. But I'm happy with this. So listen, you know what you're doing here. You're trying to get your Librams to be as zero cost as possible. You've got Interstellar Star Slicer that got a quick buff, and you've got Holy Glow Sticks that gives yourself some damage, gives yourself some life steal, excuse me, so you'll get some health back. You've got Interstellar Wayfarer. I love this card. I love the art of this card. I don't think this card is strong enough. Maybe if it had Taunt, it would be amazing. It would be perfect. But, I mean, normally you're throwing this on the board, and while the Libram, you know, the price of the Librams are going down, it's still not enough. They're just hitting your face, and you don't have enough time to respond. Tiger's plushie being in here is good. I didn't think it would be as good as it was, but this one here is very good. It helps you with a little bit of lifesteal. Urel, Beacon of Hope, we know what this one does. It's very strong. Sandcastle, so you could do the crazy, busted, broken stuff with this. The only thing I'm not seeing in here is a lot of like hand buff mechanics. It's not supposed to be, but you have Libram of Faith. When you get this down, you have those rush minions. You also have Libram of Divinity. This one's amazing. You want to get this one as low cost as possible. Make it 0 so you can keep on getting these cards to your hand at the end of the turn, and this will help you do some fun stuff with Sandcastle, help you do some stuff with Leeroy Jenkins, help you do some stuff with the Tigress plushie. There's a lot of options there. And then at the end of it, you have Lady Liadrin. So any copy of the spells that you cast on any of your other minions will give those spells back in your hand. So imagine a whole handful of these Libram of Faiths, or, you know, Libram of Clarities. It's super, super fun. I think it's only going to get better. You got Interstellar Researcher, where it helps you draw those Librams if you need them. Miracle Salesman, not going away at all. Gold Panner, Hi-Ho Silverwing, just to get yourself moving. And then the Instrument Tech, obviously, to grab the weapon. I didn't see that this was in here before. Flickering Light Bot. Gigantifying costs 1 less for each Holy spell you've cast this game. Okay. I don't know if this is the best one to put in. I would have to watch a lot more videos to see. I don't know if this is the one I would add to it, but also we're trying to make this below 5,000 dust. So your mileage may vary on this. You know, you might not love this. I love Libram Paladin, so I have to talk about it when it's above 50% win rate. And it's cool that it's in one of the budget deck videos. Next up, we're going to talk about, this is the last one, Asteroid Shaman. 60% win rate. 4,940 dust, and just want to talk about it briefly because it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different than the one I talked about in the past, okay? Okay, the differences between the Asteroid Shaman deck that I played and this one is, and I think there was a big difference on some of them, was Meteor Storm. Meteor Storm was not in this. So we know what Asteroid Shaman is supposed to do. It's supposed to bring out the asteroid package where you're hitting your opponent all the time with asteroids. Hopefully those asteroids have the spell damage improved. This one's different from the last one I talked about, mainly because it has Meteor Storm in it. Meteor Storm is a good card. I don't know why it wasn't in the last deck I was playing with, and it's just really good here. Deal 5 damage to all minions. Maybe it's because the fact it was hitting all minions and you wanted to keep your minions on your board that had the spell damage on it, but shuffle 5 asteroids into your deck. So this is a good option. So you've got Flow Rider, and that's just sitting there trying to discover spells from your deck, so you get extra ones. Pop-Up Book is great. Spirit Claws has 2 attack while you have spell damage, and you will have spell damage. You have Novice Zapper here to give you that spell damage. You have Blood Mage Thalnos. Cactus Cutter, I still haven't seen this card work. I know it's in here, and I'm probably sure it's going to do something awesome or what have you. I just haven't seen it in any games that I played that it was a great card, so, you know, maybe there's other things that you can add to it. Malted Magma, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. We know what this is. Moonstone Mauler, you want to get as many asteroids as possible into your opponent's deck. Needle Rock Totem just keeps a little bit of armor for you. Triangulate, it's all the same thing. Ethereal Oracle is essential. It has that spell damage, and then it also helps you draw those 2 spells. I think Magatha was in the last one that I did, and that's probably why I made it more expensive, but that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, either one. Golganeth, some people say that, hey, you know, I don't have this card, what should I do with this or what have you. I mean, you could tweak it. You could throw Ziliax in anything and it would still be good. I still think you need this to try to clear your opponent's board, but, you know, try it without it if you do not have this. Don't think that you should craft that card. Incendious is also a good one, and also a busted one. It's pretty good. It goes, you know, at the end of your turn, upgrade your eruptions and then shuffle 5 eruptions into your deck. Between eruptions and asteroids, you're going to do a lot of damage if you throw a lot of these in. Asteroid Shaman, if you have Shutter Block, add Shutter Block. Because what's worse than doing this, you know, the battle cry, shuffle 5 eruptions into your deck? How about shuffle 15 of them into your deck? And the same thing goes for the Moonstone Mauler and the Bow-Eyed Behemoth. You know, as many asteroids as you could throw in your deck, the better. So this one's good. I don't know if this is the strongest one, but right now, from what I'm seeing, for 60% win rate, for 4,940 dust, this will get you started. I think this one's a very strong contender. I don't think this deck is super, super difficult to play, and the win rate is just continuously above 50%, and not just like a 50.1. It's literally, here you go, 57% is the lowest it's been in the past couple of days. So try this one. Absolutely an option for you if you like Shaman. And then to go over the cards, I just did you know, the patch, from the patch, how many cards are being played, you know, neutral cards only, the percentage of decks, and look what's number 1. To no one's surprise, Ziliax is there. Ceaseless Expanse makes perfect sense to me. This card is awesome. If you have this card, play this card. You could throw this in anything and still be good. I wouldn't use it to destroy your stuff, but I would use it as a, hey, another opportunity there. Miracle Salesman, we're never going to get rid of this. I couldn't believe how strong it was going to be and how many times it would be played in the past 4 or 5 months. Yogg Saron, I'm ready for Yogg to be gone. I apologize. But it just doesn't put board presence as a huge factor, knowing that there's ways that your opponent can just steal your minion. I don't know. Maybe that's why the board state is not where it could be. I would get rid of it. Gorgonzola, I love this card. I think this card is amazing. I would keep this all the time. And then Kil'jaeden's there. Marin the Manager's still there. I'm not shocked. Exodar, I'm not shocked at this because, you know, you can get this on the pass for free. There's a lot of cool stuff here. And I love some of these cards and I hate some of these cards. Hate's a strong word. I don't mean hate, but literally, I really believe that Yogg could be just gone. And some people would believe Reno should just be gone. I think what they did to Reno makes it better. It's not perfect or what have you. Some of these Titans maybe to go away. Some of these cards, and I'm even, like, I'm agreeing with Yogg going away. I'm agreeing with Marin going away. There's a couple of cards in there, the treasures, that are just broken. And then just make it like a miserable experience for your opponent. We don't want your opponent to cry and log off and say, I'm not playing Hearthstone, this sucks. We want them to play a game and be like, hey, that was challenging. But there's no challenge with Yogg. Throw Yogg, if you have Yogg, throw Yogg in anything and then just go ahead and use it when the opponent makes that huge, huge starship or whatnot. Just yoink it. Just take it. You could have it. It's yours. Things like that. They also did some stuff with, what else did they do? Reska. Reska went to 25. I think that's a smart move. I think Reska being at 25 is a great idea. Make it 30. I don't care. It shouldn't cost 0. I play it all the time. It shouldn't cost 0. It shouldn't cost 0. It should cost 2 or 3 or what have you. You play your entire hand at any type of mana, and if you've just done enough damage or you've killed enough minions, Reska should not be 0 to be able to control one of your, to take one of your opponent's cards after you destroy something. It doesn't work. I think it's just too broken. So, done ranting. I will be seeing how the meta is going to be the next couple of days. We're going to keep on doing what we do. Every Monday I put these out. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.